Balitang National. Good morning, Pilipinas, and welcome to another edition of Balitang National. For this video, allow me to use English and Tagalog as our medium of instruction. We are going to add two rational expressions for this video. Dito po, mayroon tayong a plus 1 over a cube, at yung pangalawang rational expression ay a plus 2 all over a squared. We are going to add because the operation here is plus. Bago po natin gagawin yun, naway matandaan po natin na itong mga rational expressions natin po ay parang mga fractions din. And before we could add, even subtract fractions, we need to consider likeness of terms. Gaya po ng 1/3 at saka 1/2. Di po pwedeng maging 1 plus 1 equals 2 and 3 plus 2 equals 5 at saka 1/3 plus 1/2 is 2/5. Di po pwede yon. Gagawin po natin doon is we're going to make sure that the two fractions are similar. In short, they have the same denominator. Looking for LCD of 3 and 2, we have 6, and we have applied equivalent fractions to solve for the sum. Dito po, yun po din ang ating gagawin. Ating denominator po sa ating first rational expression are a cubed, at yung pangalawa po ay a squared. Napaka-obvious po na di po sila similar na rational expressions. So yung gagawin natin po ay maghahanap tayo ng least common denominator. For our variables po, we need to understand that the least common denominator is the largest possible number of variables that we could locate for each denominator. Because if we talk about variables po, yung a squared at saka yung a po, pwede po siyang maging a squared. Dito po, yung a squared natin pwede po maging a cube. Kahit na po yung exponent ng a cube ay hindi even number kagaya ng a squared. Kasi nga po, if we have variables, we just simply need to look at the maximum possible number of coefficients for a variable. A cube means we have a times a times a. A squared means a times a. So we just need to add one more a here so that we'll have the same denominators. Or not add, multiply rather. Multiply another a, so we'll have the same denominators now. And it's not a to the power of 6. We just have a cube. So yung LCD natin dito po ay simply a cube. Kahit na po, sabi ko kanina, yung exponent natin ay hindi even, ito po mangyayari. Di po to katulad ng 3 at saka 2. Kasi yung 3 at 2, the 2 can no longer look for a factor in integer that could result into 3. That's why we multiply it to 3 times 2, 6. But for variables, as mentioned, we just need to look at the maximum possible of coefficients that could be placed for our LCD. In this case, it's a cube. Please bear that in mind. Now that we have our LCD po, gagawin po natin, kagaya po ng ating 1/3 at saka 1/2. Kagaya sabi ko kanina, yung LCD po natin ay 6. To complete this, we will divide 6 by 3. That's why we have 2. And that's our multiplier to be multiplied to our numerator, which is 1. And if we have something like this here, let's say this is 7. Let's change this to 7. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That would be the multiplier. We're going to multiply to 7 for our process. And we use the same operation, plus. This is what we do for fractions. And this is what the same thing we're going to do for our rational expressions here. So a cube divided by a cube is 1. Okay? So 1 is the multiplier to the entire numerator. So it's 1 times a plus 1. Or simply a plus 1 itself. For our next rational expression, a cube divided by a. Take note, when we divide, it doesn't necessarily mean na yung exponent po natin ay divisible. Because if we have a cube to be divided by a squared, by loss of exponents, it's 3 minus 1, so you have a. So again, a cube divided by a squared is a. That's the multiplier we're going to use for a plus 2 its numerator. Okay. Now that we are done with that, take note the operations plus, so you make it here. Next is to simplify our numerator. Of course, that's just simply 1. So you have a plus 1. And here, a times a, so you have plus a squared, and then plus 2a, all over our a cube. Then we are going to add the coefficients that can be added. We will start here with a squared, arranging the terms. You have a plus 2a, that's plus 3a, and plus 1 all over a cube. Now, if you want to examine if there are factors that can be cancelled, we cannot do it like this. Okay? Kasi di pwede yan. Kasi yung a squared natin ay kasama po ng trinomial sa taas. And let's find out po if we could factor our quadratic trinomial. Okay? So, our AC way po dito is 1. And the factors of 1 are just 1 in itself. So, it can no longer be to 3. That means our numerator is also non-factorable. Aside from that, we don't have any use for factoring our numerator po. Kasi nga, wala naman po pwedeng ma-cancel dito na binomial. So, this is the final answer. Ito po yung sum ng ating dalawang rational expressions. And we use here the concepts of LCD and the correct processes in getting equivalent fractions or equivalent rational expressions. And finally, its simplified form. Lester Lou Sigumpan, nagbabalita for Balitang Rational. Huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe, i-like at i-share ang video ito. Maraming salamat!